I've noticed your attempts to engage me in idle conversation, and I see the way your pupils dilate when you look at my body.
Jeri Ryan was born into the spotlight. She was determined to follow her heart, even if it meant putting herself in harm's way. However, this did not come without a price that she would forever have to pay. The story of Jeri Ryan's ascent to stardom is one of surprising turns, intense backstage conflict, and a life-altering role. Her path wasn't only about stardom. Surviving in a world that demanded too much from her was the main theme. How much of a hit to her professional life was this? Come as we uncover the hidden story of Jeri Ryan and her battles to stay afloat in the midst of Hollywood scandals. Jeri Ryan's early life and how she became entangled in her current life are important background points to cover before delving into the specifics of her life story. The daughter of American parents, Gerard and Sharon, Jeri Lynn. Ryan came into this world on February 2, 1968 in Munich, West Germany. She was born into a nomadic lifestyle as the daughter of an American Army officer, on occasion visiting Germany, on other occasions Maryland, and occasionally a tropical stay in Hawaii. Due to her father's military job, the Ryan family was constantly moving. It was difficult for young Jeri to establish herself since she was constantly exposed to different cultures and people in each new location. It wasn't all terrible, though. The upheaval of constantly shifting locations allowed her to create something priceless: flexibility for change. Jeri was self-reliant from an early age, and she had no trouble adapting to new situations or finding her place in them while maintaining her identity. While other children may have faltered under the need to constantly reinvent themselves, Jeri flourished, discovering the importance of inner consistency as she navigated the challenging performing industry. When her family eventually moved in Paducah, Kentucky, she was 11 years old, and her life took yet another dramatic change. In contrast to her previous carefree existence, this little village felt like a million miles away. There were new difficulties in Paducah. It was only natural for children to desire to fit in with the crowd, especially when most of their peers were interested in sports and cheerleading. But something quite else drew Jeri. Because of her upbringing as a nomad, she had difficulty relating to her classmates who had grown up in the same town. This made her feel alone and isolated at first. She chose drama as an outlet where she could be herself instead of isolating herself. Jeri dove headfirst into school musicals and plays after rapidly developing an appreciation for the performing arts. Her acting became an outlet for her feelings and a means of expressing the diverse cultures and ways of life she had experienced during her many moves. She found solace on stage, where she could unleash her adolescent fears and let her gifts shine. Where did Jeri Ryan's life go after this realization? What is the hidden truth about Jeri Ryan? To discover out, continue watching. Jeri had a difficult time in high school. Bullies who couldn't go beyond their narrow perspectives picked on her because of her passion for the arts. She was referred to as a geek. This geek, though, was about to experience triumphant defeat at the hands of the most accomplished. Northwestern University in Chicago, which is well known for its theatrical curriculum, was Jeri's next stop after high school. There, she honed her skills with a plethora of stage productions that gave her the chance to showcase her many talents. Professors and classmates alike saw the passion she had for her work, and she started to receive recognition for it. Unique to her was her untapped potential. They had a feeling she was meant for great things outside of academics. Jeri made the audacious decision to discontinue her scholastic pursuits at the conclusion of her senior year, with just one class remaining before she could graduate. She felt she couldn't resist the allure of Hollywood any longer. By forgoing the stability of a bachelor's degree in favor of a potentially disastrous attempt at celebrity, some felt she was making a grave error. However, taking chances had never scared Jeri. Embracing the unknown had been her life's work. After making up her decision, she prepared to face the world by packing her luggage and heading to Los Angeles. Like many other would-be performers, Jeri landed in Hollywood in 1990, dreaming of making it big. There was no telling what lay ahead, but she was hell-bent on making it. She went from audition to audition for 3 hard years, taking odd ad gigs to pay the bills, all in the name of getting that elusive big break. Doubt began to seep in as time went on. Jeri wondered at times whether this was indeed her life's work. Perhaps she was destined for a different path, like law school. Something in her always fought against the idea of giving up, even when she considered leaving. It was simply not in her character to give up. Life was not going to be kind to her with such a dogged spirit. Let's investigate. Jeri chose to try it again. Despite the setbacks and disappointments, she chose to persevere for a while longer. The year 1993 was a watershed moment. In the pilot episode of Reasonable Doubts, she co-starred with Oscar winner Marlee Matlin and had a minor but significant part. Although it did not result in a lead, it was a breakthrough that caught the attention of casting directors. As word got out, Hollywood took note. Little parts started to trickle in one by one. She was a guest star on several MTV movies and appeared on popular series including Melrose Place and Murder One. However, Jeri's life would undergo profound and unexpected changes not until 1997. In the 4th season of Star Trek Voyager, she was cast as Seven of Nine, a fresh recruit to Starfleet that year. For both Jeri and the show, this role marked a turning point. Jeri mesmerized viewers as Seven of Nine, a former Borg drone, a character who gradually regains her humanity via her depiction of a distant and troubled individual. While the eye-catching silver catsuit did its part to attract spectators, the performance itself was the real star. The name Jeri became renowned practically immediately. From the covers of magazines like Entertainment Weekly to conversations about pop culture, her face was in every place. She became famous for her portrayal of Seven of Nine very soon. But portraying Seven wasn't all about stardom for Jeri. It was all about the opportunity it gave her for artistic expression. She immersed herself in the part, collaborating closely with the show's creatives to give it depth emotionally. Initially, Seven was meant to be a figure that lacked feelings and was only rational. In contrast, Jeri saw greater promise. Her goal in creating Seven was to make a character whom people could relate to on an emotional level and root for. As Seven gradually finds her voice, viewers get a glimpse of her inner turmoil and fragility. The way Seven looked changed as she grew older. Jeri collaborated with the production crew to subtly alter Seven's appearance, mirroring her character's maturation with changes in hairstyle, cosmetics, and clothing. Seven goes from being an ice drone at the beginning of the series to a woman coming into her own at the finale. This was a very personal experience for Jeri, and she conveyed that feeling to the audience via her performance. Watching this science fiction figure undergo a metamorphosis and reclaim humanity was more than simply a spectator could take in. The deciding factor was Jeri's performance. As Seven of Nine, what was Jeri Ryan's journey like? Just how convincing was her performance? Be sure to tune in to find out. It was mostly because to Jeri's captivating performance as Seven of Nine that the character became a fan favorite in the Star Trek canon. A one-dimensional character may have been saved by her exceptional depth. Fans continue to praise Seven's transformation from a heartless robot to a person who fully embraces her humanity, hailing it as the pinnacle of character development. However, things weren't always going swimmingly in the background. It took a lot of mental and physical energy to play Seven of Nine. In order to stay in character, Jeri had to stick to a rigorous exercise regimen that included wearing a skin-tight catsuit. She worked really hard to retain her hourglass figure. She became exhausted from the early call times, long days on set, and the strain to maintain her peak physical condition. The pressures were constant, even if she loved acting. Jeri eventually started speaking up about the sexist expectations Hollywood had on women and fought for more comfortable clothes in subsequent seasons. Actress Jeri Ryan was expanding her career. She was starting to make her voice heard in an industry that can be overly demanding and in favor of healthy body ideals. As a result of her own development, Jeri was able to strike a balance between her professional and personal life. From a struggling actor to a full-fledged TV celebrity by the time Voyager finished in 2001, Jeri had transformed much like her character. Her iconic role, along with her tenacity, resilience, and steadfast dedication to being authentic, had propelled her to stardom. Because of the iconic 7 of 9, Jeri's name will always be associated with Star Trek and will be loved by fans all over the globe. There was nothing heroic about Seven's history as a member of the Borg, a deadly species of synthetic creatures focused on integrating others into their collective. Despite this, she become a fan favorite inside the Star Trek canon. Her backstory is compelling for more than just her villainous past. She became an integral part of the Voyager crew, and a fan favorite despite entering later than the majority of the primary characters. Unlike other shows, Voyager dared to debut 7 of 9 in the 4th season, far into the middle of the run. There was already a devoted fan base for Star Trek, Voyager's current crew, when 7 of 9 was introduced. The audience knew the captain's eccentricities, the engineer's demeanor, and the first officer's values. It was a gamble to introduce a new character towards the end of the series. This is due to the fact that audiences can be averse to change and that latecomers frequently have trouble finding their spot. However, 7 of 9 was unique. She was striking. She didn't mix in at all. A remarkable look was one of the first reasons 7 became popular. It attracted people's attention. What drew in viewers, though, was her relatable plight. 7 had to find her humanity again after being a part of the Borg collective. The audience could relate to her struggle with identity on a personal level. She exemplified the battles we all endure as we seek to understand our true selves. She was both fierce and tender. Have you ever thought about how many of history's most heroic figures undergo a transformation after beginning their quests in a dark place? Imagine figures such as Darth Vader or Severus Snape. There aren't many fictional characters in science fiction that represent this metamorphosis quite like 7 of 9 from Star Trek Voyager. After she found her spot, was everything easy? While rising to fame, what obstacles did Jeri Ryan have to overcome? Let's investigate. There were obstacles on 7's path to fame despite the fact that admirers bonded with her immediately. From behind the scenes, there were some who questioned if it was the correct decision to bring back a former Borg to the show. Some doubts arose over the character's compatibility with the dynamic they had painstakingly crafted over the years. They were also pessimistic that the crowd would welcome her on board. No need to be worried, as history demonstrates. 7 became one of the most recognizable faces in Star Trek canon, and she was also an indispensable member of the Voyager crew. She represented the possibility of a redeemed being or object finding a way to the light. Among Ryan's favorite episodes is Someone to Watch Over Me, in which the Doctor guides 7 as she investigates dating and romance. As the Doctor instructs 7 in the art of talking and dance, this episode strikes a nice mix between comedic and touching moments. One of the most moving sequences in the series happens when the Doctor and 7 perform a duet, which leaves a lasting impression. At the episode's melancholy conclusion, 7 expresses interest in someone else, forcing the Doctor to keep his love for her bottled up. The entrance of 7 of 9 was met with mixed reactions by several on set. Robert Beltran, who portrayed Chakotay, expressed his discontent openly. He thought that the show's emphasis had shifted with 7's arrival, putting characters like Neelix, Tuvok, Harry Kim, and Chakotay in the background. Beltran felt that the ensemble dynamic that had been painstakingly developed over the course of the prior seasons was overshadowed by 7's appearance. Regardless of the disagreements, 7's storyline proved pivotal to the latter seasons of the program, solidifying her status as a fan favorite and an iconic figure in Star Trek canon. According to Beltran, the writers were engrossed with 7's human Borg identity and started to center the program around her journey, leaving little space for other characters or plot lines. Not only did Jeri Ryan observe this change, but many fans also felt that popular characters were frequently sidelined once 7 was introduced, shifting the narrative balance in her favor. However, Star Trek Voyager was far from the last chapter in Seven's narrative. This remarkable individual has a hidden reality. We will address it soon. Keep an eye on the news. 7 of 9's subsequent return to the Star Trek canon many years after Voyager's demise proved that her impact lives on and attracts new viewers. New and old fans alike excitedly followed 7 of 9's journey through this new chapter of the Star Trek series upon her return to the cosmos. Her backstory is just as interesting as her plot twists. Brannon Braga, a producer on Voyager, came up with the idea for 7 based on an episode called Unity. In that episode, the Voyager crew meets a bunch of ex-Borg drones who are trying to get their lives back together after being cut off from the collective. This made Braga wonder, what if the Voyager crew was joined by a Borg drone? It was Unity that set the stage for 7 to join Voyager in the end. The episode takes place on a planet where Chakotay, a critical officer on Voyager, encounters former Borg who have broken out of the hive mind and are attempting to establish a new civilization. When 7 eventually joined the crew, the knowledge she gained from seeing the power conflicts and anarchy among these former drones, what it meant to be Borg, would be invaluable. Friendship is not 7 of 9's primary goal upon boarding Voyager. In their desperation to get home, the group must navigate across space controlled by the Borg. On the other hand, Species 8472 is a formidable adversary that the Borg must contend with. An agreement with the Borg is proposed by Captain Janeway, who is ever the strategist. In return for safe passage through their domain, she will assist them in developing a weapon to fight Species 8472. As is typical with the Borg, 7 is dispatched to act as their representative to Voyager. However, nothing is ever simple when dealing with the Borg. 7 discloses the Borg's real goal, to absorb the Voyager crew after Species 8472 is eliminated. The character of 7 revolves around this conflict between her devotion to the collective and her increasing autonomy. Although her entrance was hostile, it laid the groundwork for a character who would go on to become one of the most multifaceted and adored personalities in Star Trek legacy. The tactician Captain Janeway had foreseen the Borg's treachery. In order to break 7 of 9's link to the collective, the Voyager crew utilized a technology that drew on Chakotay's prior encounters with the Borg. Embarking on her harrowing but ultimately liberating quest to reawaken her humanity, 7 was left with no alternative but to adjust to life aboard Voyager as a person. There was no denying the impression that 7 of 9 made upon her debut on Star Trek, Voyager. She wore a skimpy catsuit when she arrived. Her features were unearthly, and her look was stunning. Her admirers dubbed her Barbie of Borg in no time. It was clear that she was trying to draw attention to herself. In the beginning, Brannon Braga wanted to bring a Borg to the crew, but Rick Berman, a big star in the Star Trek series, had other plans. According to reports, he considered 7 a Borg babe, a visually appealing persona. In her role as 7 of 9, what made Jeri Ryan unique? To what extent did her 7 of 9 persona exude allure? Now things start to heat up with the disclosure. Be vigilant. The 7 actress Jeri Ryan knew full well that her appearance impacted how viewers first saw her. In interviews, she freely admitted that her attractiveness was an attraction, but she stressed that the growth of 7's character was what ultimately kept viewers hooked. 7 is a complex and well-written character, Ryan said at one point, elaborating on how her allure went way beyond her good looks. One of the most interesting plots of Voyager was 7's transformation from a faceless Borg drone to a human fighting to rediscover her humanity. Her developing interactions with the crew, particularly Captain Janeway, who acted as a role model, molded her character. In addition to highlighting 7's frailty, these plot points serve to emphasize that she was more than meets the eye. She became a symbol of strength and change, demonstrating that even someone molded by shadows may emerge stronger than before. While 7 of 9's stunning good looks certainly drew in viewers, it was her complex transformation from emotionless machine to human that kept them hooked. Star Trek: Voyager was just the beginning of Seven's story. Among the few Voyager characters to return for Star Trek Picard, her triumphant homecoming was a highlight of the new film. Being on Picard was a powerful reminder of how influential her character had been, both in the Star Trek canon and among the show's most passionate followers. There was another, darker, and more expedited way Seven's narrative could have concluded. A catastrophic end had been initially planned for her by Brannon Braga, a major producer of the series. He had originally intended for Seven to die a tragic, dramatic death on behalf of the Voyager crew. During Seven's love fantasies with Chakotay and human error, this idea came to fruition. Nevertheless, the Doctor unearths a Borg implant that would remove her from the body if she were to become too human, suggesting that she would never be able to completely shed her Borg identity. The remainder of the production crew voted against Braga's desire for her death to convey a strong message about her inner battle, despite her wishes. Seven, on the other hand, persisted on her path, battling both her Borg nature and her desire to fully embrace her humanity. Tell me about the Backstage experience. How did her other day-to-day activities match her character persona? To discover out, continue watching. Blackjack dealer Jeri Ryan met future Republican candidate and investment banker Jack Ryan at a charity event in 1990. They were wed in Wilmette, Illinois on June 15, 1991, and Alex was born to them on August 15, 1994. Throughout their marriage, Jeri made many trips to Wilmette from Los Angeles. They finally went their own ways on August 27, 1999. Dating Star Trek Voyager producer Brannon Braga began a few years after Jeri joined the cast. They were the targets of Marlon Estacio Pagtacan's stalking from February to November of 2000. Pagtacan was found guilty of harassing and uttering threats in May of 2001. The Chicago Tribune and local ABC station WLS-TV asked for Jack Ryan's divorce documents in 2003, while he was running for the Illinois Senate. Because of concerns for their son's safety, Jeri and Jack decided to make public their divorce papers but kept their custody documents private. In spite of the parents' protests, Judge Robert Schneider of the Los Angeles Superior Court ordered the release of the custody files on June 18, 2004. The record showed that 6 years prior, Jeri had claimed that Jack had asked her to participate in acts in public and in nightclubs in Paris, New Orleans, and New York. It was bizarre, she said, with cages, whips, and weird apparatus dangling from the ceiling. These accusations were refuted by Jack. The discoveries from Jeri Ryan's divorce documents caused her husband, Jack Ryan, to step down from the run for U.S. Senate, even though Jeri made a brief statement and avoided campaign discussion of the issue. In the 2004 Illinois Senate race, which flipped the seat from Republican to Democratic, Barack Obama emerged as the front-runner, and he went on to win. Jeri loves to prepare delicious meals while she's not performing. Although she was the star of Boston Public, she split her time between acting and working as a chef at the Los Angeles restaurant The House on weekends. They began dating after meeting at a charity event in 2003. Christophe Eames is a French chef. Eames eventually became a resident of the San Fernando Valley where he lived with Jeri and her son Alex. Jeri, a lifelong Francophile, went into business with Eames in 2005 to launch Ortolan, a Third Street eatery serving up contemporary French fare in Los Angeles. On Iron Chef America, the pair made an appearance with Eames taking on Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto. In an episode of Boston Legal, where Jeri's character eats at her favorite restaurant, Ortolan was also highlighted. Ortolan was successful at first, but it collapsed in December 2010 due to the Great Recession. Christophe and Jeri were married in the Loire Valley, France on June 16, 2007, and they had a daughter in Los Angeles in March 2008. Upon Jennifer Layon's departure from Star Trek Voyager after 3 seasons, Jeri Ryan was cast to replace her. Her character, Liane, swiftly won over viewers with her brightness, friendliness, and emotional depth, and she became beloved by fans. The cast and crew also got along well with her. An awkward dynamic emerged in Season 4 when Ryan's character, 7 of 9, replaced Lean. For many viewers, the decision to replace a subdued female protagonist with one who was blatantly sexualized was sexist. Speculating that Kes had hit a creative roadblock, the production crew chose to keep quiet on the choice. The explanation didn't go over well with the fans, who were saddened and stunned by Kes's abrupt departure. There were rumors of conflict between Ryan and Mulgrew, and it appeared like the choice was mostly made to replace Kes with the sexier 7 of 9. This led to suspicions of backstage turmoil. Star Trek Voyager: A Celebration, 2020, by Ben Robinson and Mark Wright, reveals the true tale of the transformation and the dynamics behind the scenes, which were not completely exposed until then. This book sheds light on how these events influenced the program. In their conversation with the whole cast for Star Trek Voyager: A Celebration, the writers verified that Jennifer Lien was battling major mental health concerns that affected her acting. Season 3 saw her character go, and 7 of 9, played by Jeri Ryan, replaced her when producers reluctantly determined she couldn't continue. Even when she stopped performing, Lien still had a tough time of it. She was ordered to undergo mental health treatment and was the subject of repeated arrests between 2015 and 2018. Ever since then, she has avoided the spotlight and has been silent on social media. We don't know much about Lien's present circumstances, as she was the only cast member who wasn't interviewed for the book. No amount of behind-the-scenes drama on Voyager can justify the actions that fueled it, but neither can it be dismissed as idle rumors. With the art mirroring some of the real-life events behind it, these off-screen interactions unavoidably affected the destiny of both characters and Kes's untimely leave. Despite the difficulties she overcame, Jeri Ryan deserves praise for her depiction of 7 of 9. 7 of 9 is supposed to make what kind of apology? Why? Let's investigate. Actresses Kate Mulgrew and Jeri Ryan supposedly had a far colder connection than Captain Janeway and 7 of 9, who had a tight, nearly mother-daughter friendship on the program. Mulgrew said in an interview from 2014 that she was envious of Ryan's presence on the cast when she initially joined. The spotlight on Ryan's character was too much for Mulgrew, who had been the show's public face. In spite of the conflict, the two women kept their cool and maintained professional chemistry on screen, which was crucial to the success of Voyager in its subsequent seasons. The plot of 7 of 9 showcases the nuanced character and the exceptional acting talent of the woman playing her. Jeri Ryan overcame obstacles on screen and off to leave an impression that would last long after Voyager aired its last episode. Kate Mulgrew was very proud of her position as Captain Janeway, the first female captain in Star Trek history. Mulgrew was concerned that the attention would go elsewhere when 7 of 9, played by Jeri Ryan, joined the cast. Without specifically mentioning Mulgrew, Jeri Ryan hinted at these conflicts behind the scenes in an interview she gave in 2013. She recalled one incident where one of the actors acted out of character, refusing to look her in the eye during sequences and even trying to block the cosmetics and costume departments from helping her. Ryan kept going in spite of everything, and he was a big reason why 7 of 9 is now a fan favorite in the Star Trek canon. In reality, Mulgrew embarrassed Ryan on set, an act she acknowledged and accepted responsibility for in an interview she gave to Woman's World in 2018. You could see the strain in their on-screen interactions as a result of this tension. Because of her awkwardness and the general unease on set, Ryan's breakout part was overlooked. Despite the conflict, Kate Mulgrew is still adored by Star Trek fans. If she had done any introspection at all, she would have recognized her part in the problem. Is Jeri Ryan's hidden reality something you can get behind? Leave a comment with your ideas. We appreciate you taking the time to view this movie, and we hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like the video. To view the next video and read up on your favorite celebrity news, click here. Looking forward to seeing you.